Hello everyone, welcome to this exclusive interview with the CoinDesk Turkish edition. Today we have the privilege of hosting Hong Fang, President of OKX, one of the world's leading cryptocurrency exchanges. OKX has made a significant decision to open a local office in Turkey, recognizing the immense potential of the community here. So Hong, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Hong, you recently announced the opening of an office in Turkey. So what are the factors that influenced your decision? Why Turkey?
Great question. We have been thinking about having heavier investment in Turkey for a while. The final decision is, number one, whether we have the right people on the ground. I think we have been able to build up a very strong start team, superstar team, I would say, which make us very comfortable in making further investment on the ground. Number two, it's also about when we look at the market here, I think Turkey is a very special and important market for crypto, particularly given, number one, its general adoption rate. Number two, I think there is really strong value add that crypto can bring to the table for people in this country. Number three, I think the culture in this particular country, as I have been experiencing firsthand these days, is that it's very open, it's very vibrant, it's very resilient as well, which is very much in line with crypto in general. And also people are forward-looking and embracing changes and innovation. There's a good hybrid community on the ground, including both startup, students, young people looking for new technology and changes, investors, and crypto native in general. So I think that gives it a great ground for nurturing more investment and more development on the ground.
We have strong players here in Turkey in terms of local players, and also international players are focusing on Turkey for a long time. So your decision to open office in Turkey is a localization strategy, I guess. So
Yes.
what unique value proposition are you proposing for the market? What difference will you bring?
We believe that we can offer a very strong and viable choice to people on the ground. We firmly believe in offering choices. We also believe that we, as a platform who has been around for almost 10 years, is a very disciplined player in the market. We are very long-term focused, and we are also focused on building the technology and building rails for the future. And we feel like we have a very strong product suite to bring to the table, including both centralized crypto exchange as well as a self-custody wallet that we made available to our customers in the same app with very powerful portal to everything that's Web3. Also on our centralized exchange side, we have probably been the most outstanding pioneer, if you will, in allowing more transparency with trustless technology with our monthly proof of reserve program, which I think is really important, particularly given the last year's volatility in both crypto market as well as in traditional market where we see some of the bank failures. I think that level of transparency and accountability is much needed. On the other hand, also I believe that with our global capability, where we bring a lot of our global control to the table, global compliance and legal infrastructure to the table, I think will help us position better for long-term development and long-term growth in important strategic markets for us, like Turkey.
Right. Speaking of the compliance and speaking of the regulatory framework, Turkey has been a market relatively open to the crypto, except a couple of regulations. But we have been expecting a regulation to come true in the upcoming months or maybe a year it depends on which perspective you look at it. But what's your take on the regulation? Because we have been talking a lot about regulation in US, for instance, and we have been seeing a lot of companies that are very anxious about the regulatory framework approaching US. So as an international player, what will be your expectations from the regulatory guys or the policymakers here to streamline or to accelerate the growth of crypto in Turkey?
Yeah, look, I come from U.S. You know, our pretty significant part of our team is actually based in U.S. There are obviously regulatory uncertainty in U.S. for crypto industry over the last 12 months, but I firmly believe that things will clear up over time. I think that we're just going through a very transitioning period. When it comes to regulatory landscape in Turkey, our stance is that number one, we have been following the market for quite a while. We know that the regulatory conversation is ongoing, and we are very much open to be an active participant in that conversation if the regulator would like to hear our perspectives, number one. Particularly now we're coming to local, we would love to be part of that conversation if there is an opportunity for that. Number two, I think there is very strong commitment from our side to be compliant, to follow whatever regulatory framework is available in a market. And also, I think ultimately regulatory framework is really about protecting customer, protecting individual and consumer, making sure that the bad actors are held at bay. It's about common sense ultimately, right? So I think from our perspective, we want to be a responsible player, and we understand that a lot of the questions and requirements coming from regulators ultimately comes from the desire to protect the customers, the desire to provide more transparency and reliability to the customers, which we want to do as well. Right. We're embracing that. And that's also why we have been doing this monthly proof of reserve, to show that, hey, this is all the assets we are holding on the platform, and it's matching all the assets that the customers have been putting in our custody. And please hold us accountable. You have availability to check it on chain and on a monthly basis. It's it's calculated as well. It's all for all the assets that is being included in that program. It's more than 100% reserved. But we want our customers to hold us accountable. We want them to have tools to be able to hold us accountable. That's more from the technology side. When there's not enough, not a existing regulatory framework in place, we are willing to hold ourselves accountable from that perspective. Right. So we would welcome regulatory conversations and regulatory framework. I think clarity would help adoption and will help rebuild the trust in the system.
I think the key word is the common sense there, because the more stakeholders are involved during this policy making time, the better regulations we will have. I
would agree. Yeah.
You mentioned that one of the strong parts of Turkey as a market is the community. So we also agree with that, but we believe that as CoinDesk Turkey, there is a lot of potential for Turkey to develop more communities, or to expand the existing communities, not only within the Turkey but within the global landscape. So what can OKX offer in order to support and grow or expand the communities here?
Yeah, we are literally just getting started. We are seeing a lot of the good feedback coming from the ground, and that's why we want to actually build the team on the ground to be able to stay close to the community and nurture and contribute to the community. So obviously, on last Monday, we just announced that we're going to open an office. We have some people on the ground working remotely, but over the next probably 2 to 3 months, we'll start to formalize the plan a little bit more and launch the entity and launch the office. And with that, we will be able to do more for the community. Right now, what we have been trying to do is to really get close to the customer, listen to people, and see what they need from us. And then we will react to that. Because I don't think we want to bring any pre-assumption from our experience elsewhere, either in Asia or America. in terms of what may be needed on the ground in Turkey. I think it has to be locally initiated. We would be happy to support, university activities or sponsoring community events. We would be happy to support the developer event here. We actually have been sponsoring Bitcoin developer over the last 3 years consistently, and I believe that for crypto, the underlying driving force is actually technology innovation, and a lot of projects are continue to move forward to really provide solve for more value proposition for real life. We would love to be part of that as well.
Right.
So I think it really depends. I don't think we can dictate what we should be doing. It's really more the community, what the community needs, and what the local partners would need, right? Either banking partner or other partners would need from us.
Right. Hong, you just launched a very bold ad campaign with the motto of rewriting the system. So it's a really bold statement. You state that the system needs a rewriting. So what's the idea behind that?
Look, part of it is also a reflection on the development in the last few months in US, right? Over the last 2 months, actually, there have been 5 banking failures, commercial banking failures, one of which was the 2nd largest bank failure in US history. Right. The other one was the 5th largest bank failure in US history. That was probably the first time over the last 15 years when a lot more people in US start to actually ask, what's going on? Is everything all right? Obviously, we see from newspaper and media and social media that everything is all right when probably not everything is all right. That type of sentiment has probably been felt by other parts of the world more often and earlier than what is now happening in US. And this was also something that has started the whole crypto tide, if you will, right? Because back in 2008, when the great financial crisis happened, that was also when Bitcoin was first created. The whole point of Bitcoin creation was to ask that question, which is it should we actually take things for granted? Should we assume that whatever we are having right now is what we will continue to have forever? Are there anything that should be actually reviewed and challenged? And I think the answer is yes, from our perspective, because we are very much a believer in technology. And a big part of technology evolution over our history, human history, is that the technology has been distributing power to individuals, starting from the working relationship, transportation, information sharing, e-commerce, then social media. Right, we wouldn't be having all the digital media right now without the enablement of technology. The only part that hasn't been really distributed into individuals' hand on a P2P basis is money. And, I think it's a longer topic, but I personally also believe that because of the legacy system that we currently have in money, in financial system, we are having a lot of the issues of social division, of over-financialization, and of also some of the geopolitical conflicts and pressure because of the legacy system in place. Now, can we work on that system? Maybe yes. That's what we actually saw from 2008 financial crisis. Obviously, various governments are trying to take measures to fix it and bring the economy back. Does it actually address the issue? I don't think so. It was really just kicking the can down the road. And that's also why we firmly believe that we are working on something that is on the right side of the history, which is building a new system, building the rail for a new system that is more trustless, where individuals can actually control their own financial freedom. And that's kind of the what's happening behind the ad. But obviously, we also when we do our commercial, we also don't want to take ourselves too seriously, right? So there's also a tone of, let's talk about what actually is going on, but at the same time hinting toward one of our competitors' ad of let's update the system.
Right.
Is that just an update? Probably not.
Yeah, it's good to hear that, because there is also a debate going around saying that is crypto mature enough to replace the proprietary system we have? So I think
probably
not.
Yeah,
not. We need a time,
not.
but
yes.
This is the intention. So we have to start discussing the details for this roadmap from now to make this happen, I guess. So these kind of bold statements also create an environment for discussion, which is good. Last but not least, Hong, when you look at 2 or 3 years time period for the global crypto industry, what picture do you see? What will be some dynamics that will be shaping the global ecosystem?
I think number one, the industry is always a technology-driven industry. Ultimately, it's about use cases that crypto or Web3, however you call it, can create to solve real problems. I think the first wave, we see Bitcoin, which is addressing the money issue, right? Then we see Ethereum, which is kind of trying to address the smart contract issue, basically trying to replicate the Web3 version of the internet. Last summer, we see DeFi summer and NFT, which is pushing the decentralized financial system to the next layer. But if we look back, it's a lot of those quote unquote crypto bull market came from all the investment and development and building activity that happened during bear markets. And I think that will continue to be the case. So what I was trying to say is this industry is driven by technology, but at the same time, there's also a very inherent part of capital markets, of pricing in it, just because of the nature of crypto. And I think it's also very healthy and normal, because market prices volatility near term help weed out bad projects, and longer term you'll be able to see which protocols actually is more viable, and those projects tend to take a larger share of the total market share, as what we've seen with Bitcoin and some of the other competing protocols. So I think these two, technology and financial price, actually work together in a very interesting dynamic, and I think we'll continue to do that. What I'm looking forward to is that through this bear market, we will see some additional investment in projects that will help us push this further more. For example, we've starting to see a more decentralized social media being built on Bitcoin, Nostr project, and some of the other protocol layers. We are seeing Ordinal coming up. We're seeing Lightning developing within Bitcoin, but then on the other, with Ethereum progressing and finishing its switch over to proof of stake, a lot of new changes is happening on that layer. So I think I'm looking forward to the next new thing in crypto, which obviously will, again, drive another round of price reaction in the market. But I think, again, it's a healthy thing. It helps attract new people into this market, which a portion of which will convert into builders, which again, longer term will contribute to a more healthier development of the space.
Right. Hong Fang, President of OKX, thank you very much for being with us today and sharing your insights. Really appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you for your time.